Look in the mirror. Look closely at your eyes. You see a color that feels uniquely yours. But that color is actually a prehistoric map tracing the incredible journey of your ancestors across a constantly changing and dangerous world. Have you ever wondered why that map is so incredibly diverse? For about 300,000 years your ancestors all had the exact same eye color. They had deep brown eyes. This was not a fashion choice. This was a biological shield against a completely unforgiving environment. The sun beat down relentless and unforgiving. Your body needed protection from the intense ultraviolet radiation. Melanin provided that perfectly designed protection. Melanin is the dark pigment that colors your skin and your hair and your eyes. It acts like a natural pair of sunglasses absorbing the harmful rays before they can damage the delicate retina inside your eye. Why would your body ever change a system that kept you perfectly safe? You wake up when your body is ready. No alarm and no schedule. For 99% of human history, this is not hypothetical but a daily reality of pure survival. You are walking across the sweeping grass of the African savanna. The heat is heavy and absolute. You look around at the members of your small nomadic tribe. Every single face looks back at you with the exact same deep dark brown eyes. The equatorial sun is a completely ruthless force of nature. It can burn your skin and it can destroy your vision. Your ancestors survived this brutal environment through a masterpiece of biological engineering that took thousands of generations to perfect. This engineering relied entirely on a specific chemical compound. That compound is melanin. It absorbs ultraviolet light and dissipates it as harmless heat. Your dark eyes were not just a physical trait. They were an absolute requirement for your survival. How did such a perfect system eventually fall apart? You migrate. Your ancestors walked out of the bright equatorial landscapes and moved northward into regions where the sun barely pierced the thick winter clouds. The journey took thousands of years across unknown terrain. Your body suddenly faced a completely new problem in this freezing darkness. You were no longer getting enough sunlight to produce vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for your bones and your immune system. Without it, your bones soften and your body succumbs to disease. Your body had to adapt or you would die. Your skin began to lose its dark melanin to absorb whatever faint sunlight was available in the freezing northern latitudes. But did your eyes need to change color too? Let us look at the dirt. Let us look at what the ground holds. Beneath the layers of modern Earth lies a hidden record of your ancestors making their way across a frozen continent. The ground is hard. What secrets does this frozen Earth hold? In the year 2014, a researcher named Carles Lalueza-Fox at the Institute of Evolutionary Biology in Barcelona made a startling discovery. He sequenced the DNA of a Mesolithic hunter-gatherer found deep within a cold cave in Spain. This ancient human is known as Braña. He lived about 7,000 years ago in a world still recovering from the ice. The genetic results completely shattered what you might expect about how your ancestors looked. The DNA revealed that Braña had the dark skin of his African ancestors but the bright blue eyes of a modern Scandinavian. How could this combination possibly exist? Your ancestors did not evolve all their modern traits at the exact same time. The process of evolution is messy and unpredictable. The genetic sequencing showed a strange timeline in human development. The eyes changed before the skin changed. This ancient hunter walked through the forests of Spain looking completely different from what modern science had originally assumed. He had dark hair and dark skin. But his eyes were a piercing bright blue. Why did the eyes mutate first? For years later, another revelation emerged from the soil. In the year 2018, DNA sequencing was performed on a famous skeleton known as Cheddar Man. Cheddar Man is the oldest complete skeleton ever found in Britain, resting in the dark limestone of Gough's Cave. Researchers Tom Booth and Ian Barnes at the Natural History Museum in London mapped his entire genome by extracting DNA from his inner ear bone. They found the exact same startling combination. Cheddar Man had dark brown skin and piercing blue eyes. This was not an isolated incident. This was a widespread reality of ancient Europe. Your ancestors did not develop pale skin and pale eyes at the same time. The eye color changed first. Why did your eyes mutate before your skin did? To understand this, you have to look deep inside your DNA. You have a specific gene called OCA2 which controls how much melanin your body produces. This gene is responsible for building the pigment that colors your world. But there is an adjacent gene called HERC2 which acts like a biological light switch controlling whether the OCA2 gene is turned on or off. In the year 2008, a researcher named Hans Eiberg from the University of Copenhagen made a massive breakthrough in understanding this switch. He traced the genetic code of blue-eyed individuals from all over the world. He looked at people from Denmark and Turkey and Jordan. He discovered that every single person with blue eyes shares the exact same genetic mutation. This mutation occurred in the HERC2 gene, shutting off the melanin production exclusively in the eyes. What does this mean for your history? It means that every single blue-eyed person on Earth today descends from one single ancestor. This individual lived near the Black Sea region somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago. This one person carried a random genetic glitch. It was a mistake in the code. This mistake did not give them pale skin. It only stripped the brown pigment out of the front layer of their iris. But without brown pigment, why do the eyes look blue? Your eyes do not actually contain blue pigment. There is no blue color inside your body. The blue you see is an incredible optical illusion. The front layer of your iris is called the stroma. The stroma is made of overlapping microscopic fibers. When there is no melanin in the stroma, light enters the eye and hits the tissues inside. The longer wavelengths of light like red and yellow are absorbed by the back of the eye. The shorter wavelengths of light like blue are scattered and reflected back out into the world. This phenomenon is called Rayleigh scattering. It is the exact same physics principle that makes the sky look blue. Your blue eyes are literally reflecting the mechanics of the sky. But why did this random genetic mistake survive and spread so rapidly across the world? Evolution usually eliminates mutations that do not provide a clear survival advantage. The natural world is harsh and unforgiving. Having blue eyes in the freezing darkness of Ice Age Europe did not help you hunt mammoths better. It did not keep you warmer. It did not help you find more berries in the snow. From a pure survival standpoint, this eye color was completely useless. If it was completely useless, why did it become so incredibly common? Think about how you choose a partner today. You look for traits that stand out. You look for things that capture your attention and hold your gaze. Your ancestors were no different. In a small tribe of hunter-gatherers where every single person had dark hair and dark eyes, a new eye color would have been mesmerizing. It would have been startling and exotic and deeply captivating. This brings you to the theory of sexual selection. The mutation did not help you survive the winter. The mutation helped you attract a mate. Let us recreate a day in this ancient world. You are sitting around a fire deep in a European valley about 8,000 years ago. The tribe is small and everyone knows everyone else. You are covered in heavy animal furs to fight the biting cold. A new group of nomadic hunters approaches your camp to trade tools and share meat. You look across the flickering firelight. You make eye contact with a stranger. Their skin is dark and weathered from the wind. But their eyes reflect the ice and the sky in a way you have never seen before. You cannot look away. You are drawn to them purely because they are different. This profound human desire for novelty guaranteed that this genetic glitch would be passed down to the next generation. Are you starting to see how much of your existence relies on pure chance? The stranger sits across the fire and speaks a language you barely understand. But their eyes tell a different story. They speak of genetic variation and the strange path of human reproduction. Because this stranger is so visually striking, they have their choice of mates within the tribe. They have children. Those children carry the strange genetic glitch in their HERC2 gene. The children grow up and they too are considered beautiful and exotic by neighboring tribes. The cycle continues. The mutation spreads not because it makes the tribe stronger, but because it makes the individuals more desirable. Sexual selection is a powerful engine of change. It is the same reason a peacock has heavy and brightly colored feathers that make it harder to fly. The aesthetic appeal outweighs the practical disadvantage. Your eyes are a human peacock tail. How many other parts of your body are simply the result of ancient aesthetic preferences? Green eyes and hazel eyes followed their own complex paths. They are not simple mutations like blue eyes. They are a careful blending of different melanin levels interacting with the light. A little bit of yellow pigment called lipochrome mixes with the blue Rayleigh scattering effect. This delicate mixture creates the illusion of green. Every shade of hazel and gray and amber is just a different variation of this biological light show. Your eyes became a canvas for genetic expression. The genetics of eye color are far more complicated than the simple dominant and recessive charts you learned in school. Up to 16 different genes work together to determine the exact shade and pattern of your iris. OCA2 and HERC2 are the main players, but they are surrounded by a supporting cast of genetic modifiers. These modifiers determine if your eyes will have flecks of gold or dark rings around the edges. They determine if your eyes will shift in color depending on the lighting in the room. This incredible complexity means that every single eye is entirely unique. Like a fingerprint, your iris pattern can never be exactly duplicated. Why does so much complex machinery exist just to color a small circle in your eye? It exists because human history is a chaotic mixture of survival and migration and random chance. Your ancestors did not just march in a straight line from Africa to Europe. They wandered. They became isolated in deep valleys. They interbred with other groups like Neanderthals. They faced bottlenecks where disease or famine wiped out most of the population, leaving only a few individuals to pass on their genes. Every time a population shrank and then expanded again, the frequency of certain genetic traits shifted dramatically. The blue eye mutation managed to survive these bottlenecks. It rode the wave of human expansion across the globe. It traveled on boats and on horseback and on foot. It became woven into the fabric of the human genome. Today you walk down a crowded city street and see a dozen different eye colors in a single minute. You take this immense diversity entirely for granted. You assume it is just the way humanity has always been. You see blue and green and brown and hazel passing you by without a second thought. But every flash of green or blue or hazel is a living artifact. It is a whisper from a single human who lived thousands of years ago near the shores of the Black Sea. It is a reminder of a time when a random genetic mistake became the most beautiful thing your ancestors had ever seen. The color that feels uniquely yours is a prehistoric map you look closely at in the mirror.